Here is a strange thing to notice. Just reading the word yawn or hearing me say it is probably starting to make you want to do it. Maybe you already have. That pull at the back of your jaw, the deep pull of air, the long stretch. You didn't choose it, you caught it from a word on a screen. Everyone yawns. Dogs yawn, cats yawn, snakes and fish yawn, and babies yawn in the womb months before they are born. It is one of the oldest, most universal things a body with a backbone does. And here is the part that should bother you. The reason you were taught for why we do it is wrong. You have probably heard that a yawn is your body grabbing a gulp of extra oxygen, clearing out stale air when you are tired or bored. It is in old textbooks. It sounds obvious. And when scientists finally put it to the test, it completely fell apart. So what is a yawn actually for? Why do you yawn? The answer connects a myth that lived in textbooks for a century, a brain that runs too hot, and an invisible thread that ties you to the people you love. Start with that oxygen story, because it is the one almost everyone believes. The logic feels airtight. You get tired, your breathing slows, your blood runs a little low on oxygen and high on carbon dioxide, so your body forces a big deep breath to top you back up. A yawn. In 1987, a psychologist named Robert Provine decided to actually test it. He had volunteers breathe different mixtures of air. Some got air with extra carbon dioxide. Some breathed pure 100% oxygen. If yawning were really about fixing the gas levels in your blood, this should have changed everything. Flooding people with oxygen should have shut the yawning down. Loading them with carbon dioxide should have set it off. Neither did anything. The extra carbon dioxide made people breathe faster, but it did not make them yawn more. Pure oxygen did not make them yawn less. The yawns just kept coming on their own schedule, completely indifferent to what was in the air. The one explanation everyone knew, the oxygen story, was simply not true, so the reason in the textbook was a guess, a good-sounding guess that had never actually been checked. And a yawn was still a mystery. If it is not about air, then what is that huge, involuntary stretch actually doing? The leading answer today is strange and elegant. Your brain is a little like a computer. It burns an enormous amount of energy. It generates heat, and it only works well inside a narrow band of temperature. Push it too hot and it starts to slow down. And a yawn may be one of the ways your body pulls it back into range. Think about the mechanics. When you yawn, you crank your jaw wide open, which drives a surge of blood up toward your skull. At the same moment, you drag in a deep rush of outside air across the roof of your mouth and your sinuses, air that is usually cooler than you are. Together that acts like a radiator. Warm blood gets flushed out. Cooler air draws heat away, and the temperature of your brain ticks down. The evidence for this is oddly specific. Andrew Gallup and his colleagues found that yawning tracks temperature. You yawn more when the air around you is cool enough to actually carry heat away, and less when it gets close to your own body temperature, when cooling would not work. In one striking experiment, they had people hold a pack to their forehead while watching others yawn. With a warm pack, people caught the yawns about 40% of the time. With a cold pack on the forehead, cooling the brain directly, that dropped to 9%. Chill the brain and the yawn is not needed, which is why you yawn most exactly when your brain is warmest and needs a reset. As you are waking up, as you are falling asleep, when you are drowsy or bored or stressed. So a yawn is not you running low on air. It is your brain reaching for the thermostat. But there is one more thing about yawning that cooling alone cannot explain. The strangest part of all, it spreads. You catch yawns from other people. You caught one from me from a word a minute ago. You can catch one from a photograph of a yawning face, from a stranger across a room, even from reading a paragraph about it. Why on earth would a private brain-cooling reflex leap from one person to another? Because at some point in our history, the yawn stopped being only about temperature and became about each other. In 2011, two researchers, Ivan Norcia and Elisabetta Palagi, spent a year quietly watching who caught yawns from whom, and they found something remarkable. It was not random. It was not about age or gender or where someone was from. The single thing that predicted whether you would catch a person's yawn was how emotionally close you were to them. You catch yawns most from the people you love, family first, then close friends, then acquaintances, and strangers least of all, and slowest. Contagious yawning, it turns out, runs along the same lines as empathy. It shows up in children at around age 4 or 5, the exact age they develop the ability to imagine what someone else is feeling. It is weaker in conditions linked to lower empathy. Dogs catch yawns from their owners, but not from strangers. The reflex isn't just cooling one brain anymore. It has become a quiet, involuntary signal that passes between nervous systems, a way for a group to stay in sync, to feel a flicker of what the person beside them feels. So we treat a yawn as an insult, a sign of boredom, of rudeness, something to hide behind your hand and apologize for. But you have had it backwards. That yawn is your brain cooling the most complex object in the known universe. And when you catch one from someone across the table, it is a small, wordless act of connection. The same ancient wiring that lets you feel another person's feelings, firing in the dark. Look at what is really happening the next time it rolls through you, not a lack of air, a stretch that flushes heat from an overworked brain and brings it back into focus. And underneath it, if you caught it from someone, a thread running between the two of you that is older than language, older than thought, a body quietly echoing another body. So the next time a yawn climbs up in you, and honestly, after all of this, it is probably happening right now. Don't fight it and don't apologize for it. You are not bored. You are not starved for air. You are cooling the machine that makes you you. And if someone gave that yawn to you, you are feeling for one silent second exactly what they feel. Most of us yawn 250,000 times in a life and never once realize what we are really doing or who we are doing it with.